This third leg of the National Forest Way goes from Ticknall to Rosliston. Starting at Ticknall's village hall, the route heads west over the fields and then around Dove Cote Hill to run south alongside Foremark Reservoir. Curving through the Carver's Rock Nature Reserve, it then rejoins the road to pass through Hartshorne. Then, climbing southeastward around Horn Hill, it goes through several wood before the route continues through the farmland to Smisby Church. From here it takes the Anwell Lane, going past the Bluebell Arboretum, and then west over the fields to Blackforderby. Then it's over the fields to Tiny Boothorpe and southwest down Gorse Lane, and then along the road into Moira. Here it turns west, with the route crossing Sarah's Wood, and then along and through the streets of Overseal. Leaving the village behind, it heads southwest over the fields past Gunby Lee, before it skims the edge of Netherseal, and then turns sharply northwest over the fields and across Grange and Potter's Wood. After a slight diversion, the route passes along a farm track and then through Penguin Wood and over the fields to Rosliston Way. After that, it's a final loop of Rosliston Woods to finish by the village church.
And we are back once again on the National Forest Way. Starting off at Ticknall this morning, Monday morning for a change. Mrs. Lama wasn't able to take me out over the weekend, so I'm not at the work today. Let's go for a decent walk and see where we get to. A few minutes ago, Ticknall Church was sort of striking the hour, and it was rather magnificent. It was ringing all sorts of chimes. There's the church itself, just here along the path. I mentioned last time, there's the ruins of the church here that the Victorians blew up. Sadly, it's on the far side, so you can't actually see it from here. But what a strange thing to do. Now, the weather today is, well, a bit overcast at the moment, but it's forecast to be reasonably sunny and warm during our Indian summer we're currently enjoying in the UK. Anyway, onwards we go. This bit's marked as Hangman stone. Guess the stone's long since gone. Now, I think today we're walking just in Derbyshire. I don't think we actually reach Staffordshire unless it's very, very late in the day on the route. I've plotted a 18-mile or so route with a bonus 2 miles if I'm still feeling up to it at the end. Of course, I'll be down to negotiation with Mrs. Lara about when she's willing to pick me up. As by this point, we're getting on for being about an hour away from home by the time I finish. So it's a fair old bit of driving for her today. Still, she volunteered to do it. So thank you, dear, if you're watching this, which you're probably not. And as we're well into autumn now, even if the temperatures aren't, lots of field ploughing going on past that right at the start. Although, you know, still fields like this, which are just beautiful, lush and full of, well, I just presume random stuff, and I'm sure that's actually a crop in there. I know you're probably all stunned by my complete absence of any kind of farming knowledge. There's a pheasant, first pheasant of the day, running along just across the field. Don't know if I got that on camera, probably not. But it certainly is pheasant season out here. Hoping this is indicative of the country I'm going to be walking in today, that a bit of up and down with not too many steep hills. Certainly the estimated climb, well, there goes a partridge, is not too great. But again, last week's estimated climb wasn't too great and ended up being quite a lot of climbing in the end. We shall see. Here we are alongside the Foremark Reservoir, which has reasonably well-marked pathway through it. Slightly confusing on the entrance, but other than that, easy to pick up. And we're along here for, best part of a mile, easily. I thought being a reservoir would be a little more flat. Obviously the reservoir itself, nice and flat. The trackway itself more up and down, but perfectly achievable. First real bit of woodland we're walking through for the day. Might be a managed bit of forestry rather than wild, but very nice location to come. I can see why people would come here for a day out. But there are a few folks around today, even though it's a weekday. So now we are just skirting the southern shores of the Foremark Reservoir. After a bit of a steep climb, on top of which I was greeted by a very yappy dog, whose owners is clearly well happy just to let him on a long lead have a good old yap. I think he was just marking his territory. I have to say, the surroundings of the Foremark Reservoir have certainly been very lovely to walk through. And while the route, as you can see, is a bit windy and twisty and up and downhill, it's not too challenging. It certainly is a location to just come for a nice walk out with or without your dog. Highly recommended. And certainly quite nice as walking through the autumnal colours. I mean, the leaves are certainly changing here, even if they haven't all come off, but there's a fair amount of yellows and reds in the area. And plenty of leaf litter underfoot too. Anyway, after this, we're heading on to a place called Carver's Rocks. Don't know whether I get to see the rocks on this route. If it is, I'll hopefully snap a picture and stick it up there. Oh, look at it. Yeah, look at it. It's Carver's Rocks, SSSI, Nature Reserve. Well, unless I miss my guess, and as we know that happens before, the village I can see ahead of me is Hartshorne, or Hartshorne maybe. Definitely walking through a section with absolutely no mobile phone reception. As I was commenting last week, it was one of those bits where you go, if I fall over here, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble getting any help. Although I have found a few dog walkers around here, including a lady with the two most gorgeous, gigantic dogs who she had. Oh, they were very, very friendly. Lovely. I like a big dog. I'm not keen. The smaller the dog is, the less keen I am on it. A nice big thing. Beautiful. Certainly quite a bit of inhabitation ahead of here. That should mean a bit of road walking and probably some fairly easy route finding, although I have to say the signage has been pretty good today so far. Indeed, I even just passed a sign announcing the National Forest, which continue. This is the third week I've been walking it. It's a bit late to arrive at a sign saying that. Well, Hartshorne was very nice. Plus, as a bonus, it had a scarecrow competition going on, though, as you'll probably see in the images above, the term scarecrow was very loosely interpreted there to mean a statue or paper mache construction. Very heavy usage of props too. It wouldn't have flown in my village, just a scarecrow competition. We expect a little more traditional scarecrows there. Anyway, we are out across field and track for quite a way now. Although I can see there's a very nice easy bit of track coming up. And then about a mile and a half, 2 miles, we reached the village of Smisby. Kind of heading generally south for what again now. We have, I believe, crested the furthest northern point now of the New Forest Way. New Forest Way, sorry. I will forget where I am. The National Forest Way. There is a New Forest Way, but that's not anywhere near here. Well, the sun has decided to join us today, after all. It's still quite hazy, so it's still actually relatively cool in the sun, which is nice, although I have slapped on my sunscreen already. I can see a church just appearing there over the hill, which means that will be Smisby. It's a church. So yeah, not a lot to report on the last stretch. Some cows, some signs warning don't get off the path, this is a shooting area, which was probably why there were loads of pheasants in that area. Other than that, fairly remarkable but nice walking. Not too foresty. We're into a bit more sort of farmlands and fields again at the moment. Hoping we're going to run into a few more woods once we get through Smisby. After all, this is a forest walk, although there are plenty of trees around. I'd say quite a charming part of the world, and not one I know at all. Well, Smisby was rather nice, very nice, pretty church. Unfortunately, the route out of it is down a long road. Admittedly, it does cross us right over, is it the A? Oh, I see. It's another busy A road. It's the A511, because we're actually just the west of Ashby de la Zouch again. Thankfully, we're not going back through Ashby, but it's not that far away, and hence the busy road. So it's down here for a while, turn right, back across some fields, and then we get to Blackforderby, which will be a blessed relief. Not seeing an awful lot of trees on the route for the next few miles, has to be said. So maybe this is part of the National Forest Way that needs a lot more reforesting. Although just over here there's an arboretum, which I walked past that was advertising autumnal colours. Not autumnal at the moment, it's still very green, but lovely all the same. And I'm just walking through what appear to be sweet chestnuts on the ground. So yeah, excellent. So there are trees, but yeah, roads, and I can hear the busy 501 we're just coming to. So I'm going to stop recording. You've seen one busy road, you've seen them all really. Now, okay, this whole route has suddenly become the best route ever for me. Those are alpaca. They're not llamas. Obviously, I'll be super good if they were llamas, but alpacas are almost as good. And the footpath goes straight past them. If you could hear me over the wind I'm heading straight into. Hello. Your ears are all down. You see me as some sort of large threat, don't you? Yeah, don't worry, I'm heading on my way now. It's lovely to meet you. Just walking through the tail end of Blackforderby, which is actually the point on the map that is closest to the sign that says National Forest. It is, however, strangely in one of the curiously least forested areas. It's also a place that's got 2 or 3 people mowing the lawn, as you might expect on a nice day like this. Ah, I can see the sign there. We're going to be across a series of small fields, which I presume got horses in them, for a bit, heading west, and then we will be turning south again. Weather continues to be nice. Couldn't have picked a better day. This is actually cooler than Saturday and Sunday were, so I'm actually happy that I'm out today rather than there over the weekend. Ah, it's a style. No, it's not a style, but it still is a gate. But I'll stop recording all the same. Ah, finally back into some woodland. And I'm rather excited as the sign I've passed said National Forest Way, 1 mile to Conkers down here. Oh, and that one says Hills Top Wood. That's what we're passing through. Now, I presume Conkers is a place, not a giant pile of conkers. Otherwise, I might find a lot of squirrels when I get there. Oh, private property, what a shame. Oh, speaking of the squirrels, there they are. But yeah, this is a very nice trackway. It turns into Gorse Lane, then we come out on a bit of roadway, and then I am approaching the edge of my map. Well, there's disappointment. Conkers turns out to be some sort of family theme area in the National Forest. I guess my hopes of a large pile of conkers was not going to happen, was it? So anyway, walking past Conkers for a way before we come back in and head over to the west, over that way again. So we're walking towards a place called Moira at the moment, of which I know nothing. One thing I did notice though is I'm back in Leicestershire, so at some point along today's trail I've passed back in. Not sure where. I'll have to have a check on the map, but it was sooner than I thought. Probably as soon as I got towards Ashby. At least one good thing, Leicester County Council, Leicester County Council are very good at putting signs up. So the route has been well marked. Anyway, a bit of road walking for a while and then back out into the fields, thankfully. Now walking through the charmingly named Sarah's Wood, which, given that's my wife's name, I imagine she'll be trying to claim it's her wood now. And who could blame her? It's got ducks. It's rather nice. What I am hoping is there's a bridge at some point so I can get across to that side, because that's what I need to access the next bit of the route. And as this is right at the fringes of the map, I am back into guesswork territory. Well, looks like I've managed to navigate my way out of Conkers, which was a little challenging. I mean, it's a nice big park and has Sarah's Wood's part of it, but the signpost of the National Forest suddenly disappeared. Despite the fact, in the middle of it, there was a big sign saying, the heart of the National Forest, the National Forest Way. Forgetting that maybe people would need directions to keep walking on it. And the only direction I've just found is on the corner there. A very small sticker pointing this direction, so I know I'm on the right route again. But never mind. For something that's really in the middle of a bit of a town, it's quite nice here. I'd recommend coming here for a stroll. That answers my question. I have re-entered Derbyshire again, as we're approaching the fabulously named Overseal. And even better, ahead of us on the route is Netherseal. What's the Netherseal? I have no idea, and I'm not sure I want to find out, but I will today. So yep, so leaving Leicestershire, and I think that's the last time we'll be dipping into Leicestershire, because the route continues westward now, onwards more and more towards Staffordshire. Yes, I know, I'm already thinking about Staffordshire and I'm only just entering Derbyshire. And look, even the sign for Overseal, it says National Forest. So you know you're on the right track. Well, yes, Sarah's Woods and the Conkers is a big area of preserve. Some nice tracks, reasonable signage. But now back out into the wilds of some roads for a while. Down here, and then we'll be taking a southerly road and eventually a path across some fields again. And maybe, dare I say it, some more proper forests. Well, having escaped Overseal, with a bit of guesswork, or good navigation, depending on your point of view, now heading out down towards Netherseal, across some fields and actually through something wood. Begins with the C. Capturing guy, please help me out here. Anyway, sun is certainly still with us. It's interesting, it's a lot cooler now I'm out of Overseal. It's getting quite warm standing on the pavement. I actually had to stop at a pedestrian crossing. I didn't expect that. It's the first time on the entire route I've done that. The traffic was quite busy. Countryside remains exceptionally pretty though. Well, here we are on the edge of Netherseal. Very slow aeroplane buzzing as above. And very nice ground green bowl on the ground. And having come a long way south, now we're going to head northwest. Actually, along that long stretch of not very wooded footpath, I met a ginormous dog again, and this one did not seem very pleased to see me. Oh, it was definitely snarling, and its owner was having to hold it back. Less fun dog. Don't want one of those, thank you very much. Anyway, I do believe in a mile or so we do actually reach some proper woodland again, which is good because for the heart of the National Forest, forests have it a bit thin on the ground. Conkers was there, but that was Conkers in the middle of a town. It's a little reserve. Outside here in the proper countryside, really was hoping to run into a few more forests. So yeah, Leicestershire winning over Derbyshire in terms of forestry at the moment. At least on this bit of the walk. And we're now in the Grangewood estate, and more importantly, the Grangewood Woods. must say, after quite a number of miles without much shade, getting back into some shade of the forest route on the National Forest Way is an absolute blessing. Very posh house over there. Got a very, very large gate that basically says don't come in here. So you gotta think somebody who's worth his bulb lives there. I'm also getting covered in spider webs down this bit. Kind of expecting more of that today, and then I guess I've not done that many foresty paths like this that are more remote. Most of them have been quite well trod by dog walkers, locals and grockles. I think I've got about 4 more minutes to go, 4 more miles to go rather, not 4 more minutes, on my planned route. So maybe an hour, quarter, hour and a half, because I am slowing down as always. But we'll see how long we can keep going as always. If there's one thing I loathe in a field, it's cut hay that's not being collected. There's one thing I really loathe, it's 4 fields, one after another, with uncut hay lying across the path, because, you have to wade through it. And at this point of the journey, we're coming up to 16 miles, you know, it's a real effort to press through it. The fact there's no actual clear route either on this path, yeah, that's not helping me move much either. And there's nowhere we're going to arrive at anytime soon. Oh well. Well, I've just spent a very frustrating 20 minutes walking right round the field because the signage. Oh my, the signage is poor in Derbyshire. Derbyshire County Council, if you're watching this, pull your socks out and get some proper signs done. Get some yellow markers on these routes. The tiny little dots they put on little posts hidden in foliage, just awful. Anyway, back on course now, after wasting probably the best part, 3/4 of a mile of effort trying to find a way on. This is top wood, by the way. It's a nice wood. I wouldn't say it's top wood, and certainly after the amount of effort it's taken to find my way into it, I definitely don't think it's a top wood. Middling wood at best. Oh! So yeah, I don't think I'm actually any closer to my goal than I was when I did the last video at this point. Oh, such fun. But yes, at least now I can see the markers say National Forest Way here. So I do know I am back on track. If you do this, always do get prepared to get a bit lost. I don't know what's funnier, Penguin Wood or Botany Bay. Can't Nooney and sing, I hope you're not ahead of me somewhere. Doesn't look like any penguins in this wood. You don't think they misnomed it, did you? Welcome to Penguin Wood, featuring no penguins. A Botany Bay, a novel day out. I don't know how it's novel compared to, you know, every other woods I've walked through. So I went a little off course in Penguin Wood because, guess what? Route markers pointing me to one way that then turned out not to be the right route again. Derbyshire County Council, you are batting zero on this route today. Luckily, I found a way back into the route. I can now see the exit to the field where I should be heading for. I haven't got too much extra distance on. But it is quite frustrating when you're trying to do a route and it is so poorly signposted as this. And it is just noticeable that once you cross the county boundary into Derbyshire, the quality and regularity of the signage just falls off, it really does. Because I think Derbyshire's, you know, supposed to be Walker's County. Yeah, give me Leicestershire any day. Far, far easier to navigate around there. Into what could now be called, laughingly, the home stretch, as we do a loop of Rosliston Woods. Again, a recurring theme of the National Forest route is it doesn't like to go straight through anywhere. Oh, no, we like to loop through it rather pointlessly. So Rosliston, you know, it's only about half a mile that way to my left. But we're going to take a route that's about 1.5 miles around these woods. I know, National Forest way. What did I expect? All the same, at this point, I'm about ready to stop. Still, at least the signage just slightly improved. Lost track of the number of signs, though, I found buried in hedges. And it's not just they've got overgrown, they're just deeply buried, as though they've been buried for years. One real takeaway I've got from this last bit is it's muddy as hell. And because there's loads of bikes have gone through and loads of dog walkers, it's just chewed up completely. So you can't get any speed up. And, you know, I'm just staggering my way through it. This is pretty awful. It really needs some duck boards or something down if it's going to be part of a route like this, because, oh, just look at it. Absolutely monstrous. Very poorly kept, this wood. So the paths, anyway. Signage on the hand, very good. So swings and roundabouts. But yeah, you keep running into loads of bits like that that are not in the slightest bit of fun. I mean, look at my shoes. Mrs. Llama is not going to be happy to have those in the car when I get back. And as always at this time, if you've enjoyed this video, give me a like or share it. It all helps my YouTube algorithmic so more people can discover the joy of walking with llama's paws. Oh, I can see the church ahead of me now. That's great news. That's where today we're ending. So I am within a quarter of a mile of it. It's just a question of navigating my way through these nettles to find a way to it. And there we are. St. Michael's, I believe it is. And that's where we're calling it a day. Well, there have certainly been some ups and downs today on this route. And I'm not just talking about the hills. Definitely Derbyshire is a lot more challenging to hike through than Leicestershire. Not because of the hills, not because of the terrain, just because the signage isn't as good. And that's a real mark against it, I have to say, as a hiking location. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time for the next Walking with Llama's Paws.